Yes, this is very important today. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the studio. Thank you for joining me again today for another one. This is the Grumpy Snail Podcast, and I am your host, Jonathan Snyder. And if you like these videos, make sure that you click that like button. Make sure you share these videos on all your social media platforms, and make sure that you subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or suggestions, there's a comment section down below. I upload a video every Sunday at noon right here on YouTube and also on Rumble. Okay, sometimes that video is not a podcast, and sometimes it is. This time it's a podcast. At some point, all my videos will only be available on Rumble because eventually I'll be kicked off YouTube. So go over to that channel there and follow that. I'm getting a little pushback on my decision to move to Rumble, but let me tell you, I have been posting videos on YouTube since college, which has been, over 15 years, and I've received nothing from YouTube but copyright claims and channel strikes. I've not received one red cent despite the fact that ads are being placed on my content. No, obviously. And on the other hand, I've been posting to Rumble, let's say for a couple months, and most of those videos have very little or no views at the moment. And also, my channel over there is pretty bare, and I've made money from them. So, I don't see how I can not reward a company that rewards me with, exclusive content. So, that's the thing. Also very special today, I'm beginning a merchandising campaign. And here, look, I have the very exclusive first run of these, right? So here's a shirt. Here's the medium, right? Grumpy Snail Podcast. And the big thing is the back. Check out the back. I got the SOB Studios logo right there. Boom. Right there on the back. I like them. Actually really like that. Also, I got a very limited quantity of stickers, right? Isn't that cool? All right, so that's cool. So very exclusive. Once these items are gone, they will be gone. There will not be another set like. There'll be another set like this, but this is exclusive. The next set will be different than this. This will give me an idea of how many are interested in this type of product, and there will be more shirts, more designs. There'll be other things as well, including stickers and mugs and maybe hats. Right? You can tell I'm into the hat thing. And let's see, maybe bags. I have different designs already, so hopefully that campaign will be fruitful. There are a bunch of things going on. There are always a bunch of things going on. Some of these stories will be older, some of them will be newer. Some things I want to talk about, but I won't get to because I have limited time. I know the last one was short. I got some complaints maybe because it was too short, which kind of confuses me because, the thing are shorts. Which are actually way shorter than 11 minutes, and my average runtime, according to the analytics, is like 3 minutes. So I don't Like, I'm totally confused as to what you people want. So I'm just going to, like, ping pong back and forth between, long and short and all that kind of stuff. But to the stories, right? So remember the Chinese spy balloon that the government allowed to fly completely over the entire U.S., and everyone said it was okay because they wouldn't really be able to gain any information. Well, that, was a lie. We knew it was a lie. It collected all kinds of sensitive information about our military installations. It even had a self-destruct device on board, which is, like, kind of crazy that didn't do anything. They tried to keep the existence of the balloon silent, and by they, I mean, the government. They didn't even want to mention it at all. And they only did so because locals in Montana, could see it with their eyes. They're like, oh, look, there's a balloon flying overhead. What is that? And it's not like they didn't know, because, I mean, we later got pictures of the U-2 spy planes that took, pictures right from the cockpit. So why didn't they just, like, lie and say it was UFOs or UAPs like, they do for other stuff? I just don't get it. I mean, China, they're making big moves globally. They're basically trying to pull, no, cat, stay down. They're trying to pull an Indiana Jones, by removing the U.S. as a global empire and trying to place themselves on top while trying to avoid the giant boulder that's coming down upon them in the form of their one China policy and their, terrible economic policies, which are the same as our, terrible, like, or the reason they're terrible is the same reason why ours is terrible, because they're based on nothing. They helped put BRICS together, which is, this organization of countries that are agreeing to get out of the petrodollar, which is the only thing that keeps our economy from collapsing entirely. There's no basis except for that the fact that the U.S. Enforces everybody to trade oil in U.S. dollars. I believe the president of Nigeria just said recently that if you're holding dollars, that you should sell them because, there will be extreme losses. China just negotiated a peace deal between Iraq and Iran. They're also attempting to broker a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine, and which will, if that happens, it'll establish them as the leading world power. Not only that, but they are also siding with Russia in this conflict and has threatened, supporting them with aid and weapons, because it's important to them that Russia doesn't fall. Oh, yeah. They're also surrounding Taiwan, getting ready to invade. Estimated that within a year, within 2 years, within the next 2 years, they will invade and take over Taiwan. So are we going to defend them too? Are we going to send them a bunch of money and aid and weapons and humanitarian aid and all that stuff that we, don't have, that we aren't going to, give our own citizens, that sort of thing? I hope not, because, like I said, we're kind of running out of ammo as it is. And I'll probably talk more about that on the next video once we get through the current military intelligence leak that's happening right now. Speaking of war with Russia, Finland just accepted, or were just accepted into NATO, which makes the situation much, much more dangerous. Considering that Russia's reason for invading Ukraine in the first place was the influence of NATO so close to their border. I remember the Cuban Missile Crisis was a pretty big deal here, so I'm pretty sure they think it's a big deal over there if, a group of people with nuclear weapons is like right outside their border. I also heard that, Ford is eliminating AM radio from their vehicles. Every vehicle manufacturer is making this push to electric cars. We'll talk about that more on the next video as well, and how terrible that is for all of us. But specifically for the AM radio that they're getting rid of, a lot of people may not care about AM radio, but the emergency broadcast system actually runs through that system, whatever, whatever that's called. It runs through the AM radio system. It's much more reliable than internet in terms of storms and bad weather, and also it's a much stronger, robust signal than the FM signal. If you don't have an AM radio, it would be a good idea to go out and get one, as well as a shortwave radio. I heard this weird story also about how, plants scream when they're cut or damaged, like all plants. Now they've proven once and for all that plants, have feelings. So all you vegetarians out there, you can take your snooty noses and attitudes and go pound sand, because at least the animals and things that I eat are dead when I do so. So you psychos that are eating living things are really out there, right? Speaking of idiots or psychos, let's talk about California. And so California is pretty stupid as a state. I mean, they elected over and over this Feinstein lady who's completely like decrepit and old and senile and can't do her job. And I mean, the current administration can't even certify judges because she's MIA, she's gone. And she's refusing to resign, even though she doesn't even probably know what seat she holds in the Senate. Because if you think that Joe Biden is gone, whoo, this lady, she is gone. She is out there. She is sayonara. But back to California. I mean, understandably, most states are pretty stupid out there, but California is in a category all on its own. Because they got San Francisco over there that wants to pay, all these black people reparations. The state never had slavery, wants to pay people who were never slaves by taking money from people who never owned slaves. And you know what I say? I say good for them. I mean, really, they want to pay these people. And this is, like I said, San Francisco specifically. Now, California as a whole is also talking about this. But San Francisco is talking about $5 million per person. They're talking about money. They're talking about, a guaranteed wage of however much money. They're talking about a house as long as they build them or as long as they purchase them for $1, and these policies are going to cost upwards of $800 billion for California. And this, 800 billion to maybe $1 trillion possibly, depending, which is like twice the GDP of California. And the response that these people have to this is it's just not enough. That's not enough to be given, which I think is hilarious. And you know what? They're absolutely right. I mean, you are aware that there is currently more slavery going on right now, like in this instance, than there was in the entirety of the last 400 years combined in this country. So it's apples to apples comparison. I mean, why are we living in the past? Let's be abolitionists today and finally end global slavery. That'd probably be a good idea. California, man. Something else about California is the California mountains. And it's not just California. It's also like in Utah, Nevada, like that area. I currently have the largest snowpack in the last 70 years. And this is caused by all those large rainstorms that were coming through. Remember, a couple months ago, California was having some of the worst flooding the state has ever seen in recent history. This also in the middle of one of the worst droughts that the area has seen. And because it's such a stupid state, all that rainwater just went into the rivers, and where does it go? Back out in the ocean. Because the state refuses to build a water reservoir to feed the state's requirements for growing all these soy and almonds, which are some of the most water requiring vegetation ever. And they're doing all this in a desert. There's more water. There is more water in the snow in the California mountains than there is in Lake Mead. You know that Lake Mead, that big thing that feeds water to Nevada and California and Arizona and all those places. But I guess, this summer we'll just watch California continue to burn down from wildfires. And that's only if the country itself doesn't burn down first. The dollar is about to... gold is at an all-time high. OPEC has decided to attack us by limiting the supply of oil, causing gas prices to currently skyrocket. We're going 3 years of supply chain shortages. We don't make anything in America anymore. Inflation continues to be through the roof. But don't worry, that's just transitory. 40% of the employed people have second jobs. 60% wish that they did have second jobs. And, that's also they can afford things like eggs. The whole entire country is bifurcated along racial, gender, economic, and political lines. And this witch hunt that has been going on for Trump since 2016 is getting exhausting. Like, so much so. And we've only got one case. There's still like 4 more cases that Trump's going to be indicted on. I don't think there's a president alive that doesn't belong in prison. But this whole thing's just kind of butt stupid. Also, the country is about to break into hot civil war over this whole trans nonsense. I don't care. I don't care what you people do. Just go be you. Yeah, I'm not interested in stopping you. Stop trying to drag the rest of us into your nonsense. Okay? Go do your thing. We're not interested. This whole thing has been around forever. We've had trans people and others in drag, and we didn't care. Right? We didn't care. Did you notice that we didn't care? But now the children are being involved, with it. So this might become a serious problem. And I personally thought that the issue that was going to be the tipping point was going to be abortion. Not this. Which brings us to the current situation with Bud Light and Dylan Mulvaney. So Bud Light is losing money because they chose this person as a sponsor for their product. Okay, the VP came out, said Budweiser's image was stale, too fratty, even though, it's the number 1 selling beer. So I don't know how its image is stale. And there was video footage of this woman at frat parties. So, I don't see how, according to her, fratty is a problem. And you know who else is fratty? This guy. I know, don't look it, but I've got the Greek letters to prove it. Now, like I said, I'm a libertarian. I don't care what trans people do. Or if people out there dressing in drag, I don't care. Go be you, boo. Go do it. All right? Oh, that's fine. Once the boycott started on left, they started pointing out. Let me start over. Once everybody started boycotting, Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch, people on the left started pointing at ads for Coors and Jack Daniels that featured drag queens. And like I said, people don't care. We don't care about that. And I kind of lump myself in with, some of the right people sometimes. Lump myself in with some of the left people sometimes. We don't care. What people do care about are their children. All right? And this person is a child predator. This person is cosplaying as a girl. Not a woman, a girl. This person's target audience on TikTok is children. And you don't mess with people's children. You say that's not true? And I say, when people say things, you should listen.
We're coming for we're coming for we're coming for your child. We're coming for
You might say that this is satire, that this is a joke. And I say I've read too many D-trans stories. I've read too many stories about people who work in these clinics doing these things to these kids. Scandinavia is pushing back on it. The UK is pushing back on it. And the US is going full bore, don't care at all. And if the only way to send a message is to stop buying Anheuser-Busch products, then that's what we're going to do. Dylan can do what he wants. and I will stop drinking beer. Will it make a difference? I doubt it. I mean, these companies are too worried about their corporate equity indices. They don't care about the sales. This is stakeholder capitalism now, not shareholder capitalism. This is some sort of new fascist corporate government nonsense where the government's involved with these big businesses and corporations. And the right isn't like the left. Okay, they aren't very good at boycotts. As a matter of fact, they're pretty god-awful. Otherwise, the NBA, the NFL, Disney, and Coca-Cola wouldn't even be a thing anymore. But yeah, that's where we're at. I think we did good on time this time. There will be more on this subject, as well as, info on a secret document, military document leak. We'll have updates on the China situation, because I'm sure that will progress. It is currently. Things are moving. Also, we're going to continue to talk about the entire collapse of society. And if this type of sad depressingness is the type of thing that you're into, then you've come to the right place. And there will be more. Thank you for joining me today. Thanks for listening. If you like this video, make sure you click the like button. Make sure you share this video. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you go over to Rumble. Support that channel. Hopefully I'll get it actually up and going real soon. And tune in next Sunday at noon for another video. It might be one of these podcasts. It might be me trying to figure out how to do baseboards in a bathroom where they're like 8 inches wide, which is impossible. So thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Good night. God bless. Cheers. Godspeed.